Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Brian, and I am the Horror Shark. And, it's kind of early in the morning, and I was gonna do this last night, but I was pretty tired. But I did go to see Violent Night, which was, I'll get into it in a second. But, the reason I'm doing this so early is because I have no other opportunity to do this today. So I was like, hey, why not just do it right now? And I gotta say, I'm happy that I'm not sick anymore. Because, I have a little congestion, but the last video I did was brutal. The troll video. I was like just going, after I did the video, I was like, that was terrible. But, so let's talk about Violence Night and really get into the season's beatings. Which is a line that's in the trailer, but not in the actual movie, which was kind of disappointing. I might have missed it. It was a really good line, so I wish it was in the movie, um, or I can at least hope it was because I don't remember it being in there. Maybe it'll be in an extended cut or something. Um, the Violent Night. So this film, it's exactly as it's described as being like Die Hard, but at the same time, there are sprinkles of Home Alone in there. David Harbour as the titular, well, he's not the titular, but the well-known Santa Claus is a perfect casting choice. He was Hellboy in 2019, and he did an okay job with that, but at the same time, that film was kind of sloppy. So with this, he has a lot of room to really grow as a character and an actor. I know he's also been in Stranger Things, so there's that. But um, there's a lot of heart in this movie. Surprisingly, I was surprised because I had heard there was heart in it, and I'm like, oh, okay. So there's a couple scenes here and there where Santa comes to realize that he needs to do this for children. And as I got into the movie, I was like, there is some more charm and heart to this film than I realized, and I'm digging it. Um, but there's a lot of gags and bloodshed as well, so I'm really digging that. Um, the opening scene at the bar, I thought was just hysterical. It got me right into the mood of the movie. I was like, I might chuckle a bit here and there, but I think it's going to be mostly just action and bloodshed. But no, um, it takes a while to get to the real carnage, but when it happens, you're all for it. Um, but in the opening scene, um, Santa goes up to the top of the roof to fly up with his reindeer, and the bartender goes out to say, she's like, "Oh, you can't be up here." And the bartender goes around and looks around for him and can't find him anywhere. She looks up, and there he is in the sky flying with his reindeer. She's like, "That's so beautiful." It's so beautiful. And then Santa upchucks on her as he flies by. Oh man, that was something special. That was perfect. So then we move on to the family who are staying at this mansion to celebrate Christmas with their grandmother and a close relative. Not really close, but you know what I mean, in blood, I guess. Um, and there's a team of like robbers trying to hijack our heist. A big heist is going on. See, I'm waking up. I'm waking up. I'm remembering words. um, but there's a big heist going on, and in that, all hell breaks loose. All the servants are dead. All the security officers are dead. Everyone's just obliterated besides this family. So now they're all stuck in this scenario where there's no escape. And then Santa shows up. He shows up to bring presents and eat cookies and drink milk, which he does a lot of in this movie. I was surprised. In the first act, he's like, trying all the milk, and he's like, "Oh, this tastes like shit," and then he goes to the liquor cabinet instead. um, really funny character interactions with people who are asleep. Like there's one where Santa goes to this house, and the little girl, she's sleeping in her crib. He's like, "Oh, that's really cute and nice." He places this nice little gift next to her. Turns to the father, and he is sitting there with empty beer bottles all around him, and he's passed it on the chair, and he gives him a little glow and takes his beer cans. Oh, that's just wonderful. So we get that. We also get the heist, and then Santa comes, and he's about to leave when his his departure is interrupted, and he has to kick ass. And by the time he's done, his reindeer are already flying off because they shot bullets into the ceiling, and they're like, freaked out, and they're running back to the North Pole or whatever, which is actually revealed why they left later. And I thought that was really funny. Um, so yeah, they get into a little skirmish and it ends in bloody bloodshed because of course it does. Um, so they go on. He actually Santa's about to leave. He sees the family in the hostage situation, and he's like, "This isn't my fight. I don't even need to get involved in personal matters." But then he sees a little girl who looks terrified, and he's like, "Oh, shit." Oh man, it's a it's a really good um heartfelt movie, and it really tries to play up the angle of Santa is done with this. All the kids are spoiled now, and their greedy parents just buy them presents, and they say Santa brought them. Um, but there's also that little angle where there are those few that do believe, and Trudy Lightstone, I believe, or Drudy, which um, what was the son's name? Because it wasn't a real name, but they tried to name it after the grandmother. Gertie and Birdie, because they called him Birdie or something like that. Uh, could try to suck up to the grandma because she has a lot of money and power. That was funny, but I felt the characters really did a serviceable job. But the real star was the little girl and David Harbour as Santa Claus. Now, their chemistry, like it's basically Al and John McClane, or John McClane and Al from Die Hard, on the walkie-talkie, but it's just a little girl and Santa Claus in this version, and it's Die Hard. You got to have that little connection there. But at the same time, I don't think it's that bad. I don't know what I'm saying. I think it's great. I think it's a great little twist on what we normally see in Die Hard ripoffs, where it's like, oh well, we have two cops and they're trying to keep in communication with each other. No, this is just simple, innocent, and trying to maintain that PG-13 angle between them, because they do say anus and ass. This is a rated R movie, but the PG line between um, Santa and the little girl tries to remain on a PG surface level. Everything else is hard R. So yeah, they definitely try a lot of things that work. There are a handful of things that don't work. Now, in the beginning of the movie, we see Santa. He's already given up. He is like, ah, well, this is annoying. This is just everyone's all greedy, and I don't feel anyone has the Christmas spirit anymore. So I feel like we should have had certain things happen to him, like annoyances, like, oh, come on, this happened to me. Um, and then he goes to the next house or wherever, and then something else happens, like, seriously, I'm about ready to give up. And then he goes to this house and there's this huge robbery going on, and you're like, I can see why you're annoyed. Instead, we have to kind of go along with somebody who's just complaining the whole time. And it kind of works, but I feel like little irritations would have helped the audience really gravitate towards them. Like, yeah, it's annoying that these kids are not appreciative anymore, but we have all these other little instances where things are just going bad for Santa, and we kind of relate to him more. And that doesn't really happen. Um, but at the same time, I think that it doesn't quite. There is a scene they could have trimmed down to add that kind of stuff to it, and I think it would have helped us as the audience feel his pain more. Um, I do really, really like the fact that the Carnage, it's creative. This is from, I think how you pronounce his name is Tommy Wiseau. He's the director of Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters as well as Dead Snow 1 and 2. He directed this movie. And he always has really gory content in his movie and his movies, and I really appreciate that, because for a moment there I was getting a little worried. I was like, is this going to get more violent to live up to the Violence Knight's name? And if so, how? So it does start to get a little bit more violent, and then it gets crazy violent, and by the end you're just getting a literal blood shower. I won't explain how that happens, but it's one of the most creative Christmas killings I've seen ever. So, yeah, Violent Night is definitely worth a watch. Sorry, it's like 6:45 in the morning here. But definitely check out Violent Night. It's like Die Hard meets a little bit of Home Alone with the producers of Nobody, so you get that great action fight choreography and stuff. It's not the best choreography. It's a bit shaky cam in some shots, but not too many. It's pretty steady for the most part. But yeah, I think that's gonna do it for this video, guys. Um, but before you go, just make sure to check out my two Facebook pages that I run: Raven Tail Reviewers and Raven Tormented Readers. Both pages are on Facebook. The links are also in the description below. It greatly helps anyone who checks them out and likes them or follows with them. It's basically just uh, people who can review Raventail books or get excited for new content that's coming out from Raventail, the book company, which I also write for. Also, check me on Patreon, Twitter, Facebook, Facebook, and TikTok. All the links are right here on the bottom of the screen. Um, they're also in the just description below. And one more thing, check out Movie Palette. Really? I mean, Movie Palette. That little canvas is a line of color, each signifying the scenes of Jaws. You can get other movies too, and if you want to get one, movie palette code SHARP15 will save you 15% off. The code is right there in the bottom of the screen. That's going to do it for this video, guys. And also, hit that notification bell to be notified every time I make a new video, and as always, subscribe.